Right now at 6, from bad to worse. Why the government shutdown is about to force airlines to scale back.
There is going to be a 10% reduction in capacity at 40 of our locations.
What that could mean if you're flying anytime soon. Plus,
our weather impact alert is stretching through the coast and the valley, especially here along the Oregon coast where we've been seeing thunderstorms, wind, rain, and the king tides will start to roll in over the next couple of days. We'll have the details coming up.
Then neighbors describe the moments authorities found 2 men dead inside a Hillsborough home.
I saw a bunch of police cars pull up, and the next thing I know, I saw the SWAT teams getting out. They were heading toward the end of the street.
And later, one local artist's idea to help people struggling during the shutdown as their pets also grow hungry.
Any chance I get to give back in a graceful way or a creative way feels really important.
A very good evening, everyone. David Molko with you on this Wednesday. We're going to get right to that KGW weather impact alert on the tail end of what's been a very stormy day across our region. Chief Meteorologist Matt Safino is with us and tracking it all. Matt?
Things are beginning to settle down, David, but it has been a very, very active day with strong winds, downpours, even had a tornado warning detected by radar up on the coast of Washington. But hey, look at this. See that? That is the full super beaver moon out there behind the clouds right now, but we are getting some breaks in the clouds in downtown Portland, and the rain has stopped for now, 56 degrees, and the winds are settling down too. But we're going to keep the weather impact alert going for another hour until 7 o'clock tonight. After that time, the chance of thunderstorms and really strong showers will diminish. In the meantime, watch for downpours, and there is still a threat of lightning, at least out at the Oregon coast, where we've seen the most in the way, well, really all the thunderstorm activity. But here's the break over town right now, which is great. Some breaks in the clouds as well. Still some strong showers coming into the coast. A lot of lightning off the Washington coast. That's been the case all day. And just inland from the Long Beach Peninsula is where we had that tornado warning, which expired at 5:15. So things are beginning to settle down. That said, it's still going to be rainy. We've got rain rolling on through with showers right now, and they will pick up again tomorrow. The watches and warnings, the advisories are out of the coast. A high surf advisory till 7 o'clock tomorrow night and a coastal flood advisory. Notice the timing, though, from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m., coinciding with these extremely high lunar tides because of the full moon. It's a 10.3 tide tomorrow afternoon, which is really very, very high. So that's why we're talking about the water out at the Oregon coast. In fact, the entire Oregon coast under that threat. Meanwhile, in the Cascades, a little bit of snow falling up at Timberline right now, but it's 35 degrees. This won't be a big snowmaker. I'll explain why and have your weekend in a bit, David.
Yeah, pretty rough day out there. Thanks, Matt. Well, if you think it was stormy in the valley, as Matt mentioned, wait till you check out those coastal conditions. Team coverage continues with meteorologist Joe Ranieri at Cannon Beach.
The Oregon coast is no stranger to a storm, but this is the storm of the storms, if you will. We're looking at high winds, thunderstorms, heavy rain, and behind me, the king tides. These are the conditions that bring people for a walk on the beach, but from a distance.
It's super weird to see, but it's really cool, and I feel like we're pretty prepared for this, and it's kind of fun.
Olivia Mensch was visiting Cannon Beach from Colorado and wasn't expecting anything like this.
Wasn't sure if it was normal or not. I've only seen the coast a few times, and this was kind of crazy. I didn't really expect it, and now I know it's actually a normal-ish thing.
These conditions are normal for this time of year as the king tides start approaching the coast.
So the king tides is essentially a phenomenon that happens every year when the moon, the earth, and the sun align, and it creates a gravitational pull that creates the highest tides of the year.
Over the next couple of days, wave heights will be anywhere from 8 to 10 feet high, if not higher. To give you an idea of just how strong the wind has been, typically the waves hit parallel to the shore. Well, today, those waves are hitting north toward Cannon Beach and Seaside. At Tolovana State Recreation Park, lifeguards were making sure nobody was getting too close to the beach.
It's not so much the surf that we're worried about on the outside, it's that when we get the big surf or the swell that's coupled with the king tides, those sneaker waves will surge all the way up.
Crews already rescued 2 surfers Tuesday afternoon after they got caught in the strong waves. Luckily, they were both okay. But the one thing that firefighters and rescue crews want people to remember?
A lot of people just don't know the true power of Mother Nature and the ocean, and at times it's very unpredictable.
To be prepared.
Putting yourself a little further back than you initially would, never turning your back on the ocean.
If you come out here to look at the stormy conditions. At Cannon Beach, Joe Ranieri, KGW News.
Well, the power of the ocean. New tonight, major uncertainty is looming for travelers in the Northwest and across the country, with the FAA announcing it will require airlines to cut 10% of flights at key airports starting this Friday, all in the name of safety. Alma McCarty is live at PDX. Alma, still a lot of questions here.
Yeah, David, definitely a lot of questions and no word yet on whether PDX is going to be on that list from the FAA of 40 high volume markets that are going to see a reduction in service beginning on Friday. We are expecting that list to come out at some point tomorrow. However, travelers at PDX do know that it's really not uncommon to connect from PDX to somewhere else to get to your final destination. So even if air traffic isn't cut here, we're still likely going to feel those effects, which stands to impact thousands of flights nationwide. During this government shutdown, now entering its second month, air traffic controllers have been working unpaid, with most working mandatory overtime 6 days a week. After some have been calling out of work, staffing shortages have led to flight delays.
I anticipate there will be additional disruptions. There will be frustration. We are working with the airlines. They're going to work with passengers. But in the end, our sole role is to make sure that we keep this airspace as safe as possible.
And we're going to be out here speaking with travelers about their reaction to this and how they're going to deal with possible disruptions. We'll have more tonight at 11. David, back to you.
As you said, cuts in Seattle, Salt Lake, Denver, LA, and other places could also impact us here. Thanks, Alma. Let's get to an update on election results now, with voters across the Portland Metro weighing in on a number of key measures, many of which are on track to raise property taxes. In the city of Portland, the Parks levy, which is a 75% increase in that particular tax, is on track to pass, though with a relatively tight margin. The yes is at 55, the no's at 45. The current levy, by the way, passed in 2020 with 64% of the votes, so that gives you an idea of how tight this has become. Okay, Washington County, a public safety levy is on track to pass with so far 57% of people voting in favor. Property taxes there could go up 3%. With that one, hopping across the Columbia to Vancouver, preliminary results coming in, and they show Proposition 5, that is a public safety levy lift lid. Say that 3 times fast, meaning an increase is on track to pass as well. This would allow police to hire 13 more officers and to add equipment. Last November, Vancouver voters, by the way, rejected a substantially larger levy. It's easy to keep track of all these races and more as votes are tallied. Just text the word election to this number. It's 503-226-5088, and we will text you back with a link to the latest results. Developing this evening, neighbors in Hillsborough say they are in shock after authorities found 2 people dead inside a home. Let's bring in John Adams live near Northeast 17th and Sunrise Lane. So, John, what do we know here?
Well, David, it is still a very active police scene out here right now, even though it is reduced from what we saw earlier today. The mobile command unit from Hillsborough Police was out here on scene for much of the morning and afternoon, but it did leave about 1 hour ago. But still a few police vehicles and police officers out here on scene. Police haven't told us what led up to this incident yet, but they did say they received a report just before 10 a.m. of a disturbance with a weapon. This is what we found out earlier today. This block in Northeast Hillsborough shut down for much of the day Wednesday after 2 men were found dead inside this home. A neighbor described what they saw and heard around 10 a.m.
I saw a bunch of police cars pull up, and the next thing I know, I saw the SWAT teams getting out. They were heading toward the end of the street.
Dave Drake tells us another SWAT unit approached from the opposite side of the street and headed toward the house.
They went into the house, and they were escorting a young girl and maybe a couple of kids down to the end of the street.
Other neighbors said they heard what sounded like gunshots before police arrived. Drake didn't know the couple that lived in the house, but had seen them walking the neighborhood before.
They seem like a young couple, nice young couple, and I just, the whole thing is a tragic, terrible thing right now. I'm feeling for them. I really am.
Hillsborough PD is encouraging anyone who may know what happened here to reach out.
We encourage anybody with any information, if they have seen or heard anything related to this, to call our non-emergency dispatch at 503-629-0111.
Even hours after the incident, neighbors remain shocked about what happened on their typically quiet street.
It's just disturbing. I'm just thinking about the little gal that they were escorting down the street, and my thoughts and prayers are with her. So It's pretty bad.
And David, Hillsborough Police did tell us there is no ongoing danger to the public. Back to you.
Thanks, John. Appreciate your reporting tonight. Let's get to your headlines now. Portland police have arrested 3 people in connection with a major copper theft ring. They say caused more than $2 million in damage over 6 months. On Monday, officers raided a property on Northeast Skidmore where they say they found stolen copper being burned and stripped. They say the thieves' MO was to cut communication lines, disrupting landlines and emergency services across Northeast and Southeast Portland.
This is critical infrastructure. It is super important that these things continue to function properly. It can represent a safety and sometimes a life safety issue when they're not functioning or when they're tampered with and damaged.
2 of the suspects are facing multiple felony charges. A third was cited and released. In Clackamas County, the sheriff's office is asking for help solving the 2023 murder of a 19-year-old woman. Emily Rose Taylor was shot and killed while riding in a car in Estacada that November. Detectives believe 1 or more people fired at the vehicle, striking Taylor, and that there are people out there with information who have not come forward. Crime Stoppers is offering a cash reward of up to $2,500 here for tips that lead to an arrest. And a Washington man has pleaded guilty to damaging a substation in Clackamas. In 2022, investigators say Nathaniel Shaney and others caused $26,000 in damage to the Sunnyside substation. Shaney pleaded guilty to 1 count of damaging an energy facility, which carries a max of 5 years in prison, a $250,000 fine, and 3 years of supervised release. As part of the plea deal, he has agreed to pay full restitution.